Hello, everybody. Again, welcome to another show of Studying Abroad with Maces. Today's show is slightly different, where actually the main purpose of this show is to introduce to those students who haven't seen before, to one of our, in fact, our oldest partner in Japan, Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University. So we are actually having currently a study in Japan applications week where students are coming into our offices and applying, and we are not taking any. Normally the way we work is we don't have any fees, but we take a security deposit from our students, which we refund back once they accept their offer. So today's session is about introducing our application week, which is going on till the 5th. And during this week, all the applications that come through, we are not charging any security deposit. So that's a great advantage. Those of you who are thinking or in the lines can now just go ahead and apply. Of course, you'll still have to pay the application fees, which the university charges. Now, the second thing is tomorrow is a special day because from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Bangladeshi time, we will be inviting Mr. Von Hogan from APU to come and do one-on-one, meeting sessions with students. Unfortunately, news spreads like fire, and we are already pretty much fully booked from 3 to 6. We already have a lot of appointments, but still there is a couple of spaces left, and if necessary, we will do it again later on, or he might be able to stay longer. So what I would like you to do, those who are listening, is we're giving you a link in the comment section. You can go in there and fill in an inquiry form, and we will then call you during that time and set up a 15-minute slot to meet with Mr. Von Hogan. Now, hello, Mr. Von, how are you?
I am doing great, Ruham, and how about you?
Good, good. It's very, how do you say, in less than a month, we are meeting twice in this venue. So, I'm sure students are really excited to meet with you. As I said, we have already got so many appointments already. So those of you who want to, again, meet Vaughn, please do fill up the inquiry form. We will try to get you in tomorrow. If not, we will set up another time for Mr. Hogan to meet with you. Now, today, Vaughn is going to give us another introduction of studying in Japan and studying in APU, the scholarships, and so you have all the information that is actually required. But if you have general, very specific questions about the application process, what you need to apply, and things like that, then you have to, or you should, come to tomorrow's session. But remember, you cannot just come into our offices. You can, because we will be pre-screening you, but better to do the form first, and then you come into our offices either in Dhanmondi or in Gulshan, and we will set up a meeting with Mr. Von Hogan. So with that, Vaughn, I think I will let you share your screen and do your magic and introduce us to one of the great universities. Vaughn, I think this is really interesting because the first student I sent to APU, after about 2 months, because nobody at that time, we weren't working with Japan, and the students were also not looking for Japan. So the first student who went there after 2 months wrote me an email saying, I thank God for the day I met you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had this opportunity. So when somebody says that about a university that we have sent them to, I think we have done something right. So hats off to APU, because since that, it's been 10 years. And I think we have more than 1,000 students that have gone through us to APU. Not 1,000 students, but about 700-800 students that have studied APU, and lots of graduates who are very successful. So Vaughn, I'll let you take it away.
All right, thank you, Ruham. He's absolutely right, everyone. We have it welcomed so many Bangladeshi students via MESAs, and they've always been working with us hand in hand throughout the whole application process. So you know that you're in good hands with them. So I'm just going to go real quickly and give you some basic information about APU. Today, I'm going to kind of focus on undergraduate programs. We do have graduate programs as well, but today I'll focus on the undergrad. So we are Ritsumeikan Asia Pacific University, APU for short. And our motto is Shape Your World. Okay, so I'm going to get back to Shape Your World in a little bit because I think it's one of the core things that make APU a kind of a unique place to study. So we are located on top of a mountain in Beppu, Japan. We are not a big city. This is not a big city at all. There's only 120,000 people in the whole city, and it's on the southern island, Kyushu. It's not on the main big island. So as you can see, here's the campus in this picture here. You can see the bay back in the distance, and on the other side of the campus is a mountain range. So it's an incredibly beautiful area to be in. You're going to be soothed by the nature, and also Beppu is a tourist destination for hot springs. So actually, Beppu has the second highest volume of hot springs in the entire world, only second to Yellowstone National Park in the United States. There's this location here. I don't know if you guys have seen it, maybe in the Japanese animation Demon Slayer. You can go visit there if you come here. And the other thing that makes APU incredibly unique when it comes to international universities is that there is a whole 50% of the student body is international students. So basically you have this mini United Nations from the very moment you step onto our campus. And our faculty is also incredibly international, multidisciplinary, and elite. You can see that 49% of the faculty is actually international as well. We have just under 6,000 students total. That's including the undergraduate and the graduate population from currently 90 different countries and regions around the world. All right. We have two colleges here. The first college is the College of International Management, APM. And I want to bring you guys back to Shape Your World. So what do we mean by Shape Your World? Well, we're not going to give you this grand goal of changing the entire world. We want you to be empowered to make the decisions and choose the course of life that will shape your personal experience of the world. And so we ask two main questions about that. The first question is how, and the second question is why. And so our College of International Management is going to equip you to answer that how question. How will you shape your world? How will you get the concrete skills that you need to make a difference in your life path? Okay, so you're going to be equipped to open a small business, work in commerce, industry, finance, whatever you might want to do. This is an incredibly flexible and multidisciplinary degree. So you have 4 concentrations inside the College of International Management. You can see them there on the screen. We are also AACSB accredited. I'm sure that you guys don't really know what that means, but actually only the top 5% of all business schools in the world get this accreditation. So you know that you have a quality education. All right. You can see down there, it says classes offered in both English and Japanese. I'll get back to that in a second too. All right. And then we have the College of Asia Pacific Studies. And this college aims to answer the why. Why do you want to shape your world? So this is our take on a 21st century liberal arts degree, basically. So you're going to delve into, social issues, environmental issues, talking about international relations, which is another very popular course of study here at APU. And you're going to really equip yourself with the theory and the knowledge to think about why you want to shape your world and why you want to hold that power over your destiny in an academic and enlightened way. All right. I also want to draw your attention that we are actually certified by the UN World Trade Organization for quality in tourism education in our College of Asia Pacific Studies, short for APS. All right. So I'm going to skip over the grad school offerings. We can talk about those a bit later if you guys are interested. But first of all, I just want to get straight into the meat of things. So now, like I mentioned to you earlier, classes offered in both English and Japanese. What does that mean? Well, what it means is that you don't need to know a single word of Japanese. You don't even need to know konnichiwa to come to APU. So you can apply to APU and get accepted without knowing any Japanese. And we're going to give you the tools to live your life in kind of a small Japanese town where people don't understand English. So you're going to have this basic level of communication ability drilled into you in your first year. And just like you guys, the Japanese students are going to have that same basic language ability drilled into them. So they're going to be taking these intensive English courses as you guys are taking your intensive Japanese courses. So everybody's going to be able to communicate with each other. And if you're interested in further language studies, you can delve into other Asia Pacific languages in your second year. Let's talk about campus life, student life. You know, we have 169 exchange programs around the world. And the coolest thing about these exchange programs is you get incredible bang for your buck. You can go to some of the most prestigious institutions in the world and still only have to pay your low APU tuition. So that's really cost effective, really great way to broaden your horizons as you're studying at some of the elite institutions in the world. You can grab some internships and field studies. You can join almost 150 student clubs, go through business case competitions, model UN, debate, you name it, we have it. Another really cool thing we do is the Multicultural Week, where for an entire week, the whole campus kind of focuses on a certain country's culture, food, art, dance, music, all of this, kind of culminating in this great big show at the very end of the week. It's great. And we are going to cover you for accommodation. Don't worry about that. You're going to have a place to stay for your first year. You're guaranteed a spot in AP House. The rent includes all of your utilities, air conditioning, and Wi-Fi. Okay, so you're never going to be sweating it out in the summer. You're always going to be very comfortable in your AP House room. So there are single and shared rooms. And the cool thing about the shared rooms is you're always going to be paired with a Japanese roommate. And you're going to immediately be able to start that cross-cultural communication and making new friends from the moment you move in. And then from your second year onward, a lot of students will choose to go down into Beppu City, down the mountain, and share apartments or share houses with their friends. Save a lot of money that way. All right, so then I know you guys are probably going to want to get into the part-time work in order to help fund your education and your lifestyle. You can get part-time jobs on campus, of course, but they're in high demand because it's on campus. But you can also work at a variety of places around town. Remember that Beppu is a tourist town, so there's a lot of opportunities for work. You can work at hotels, restaurants, convenience stores, groceries, gas stations, you name it. There's also some jobs for tutoring, which are very highly demanded because they usually have a bit higher hourly wage than the other part-time work. You can go to all sorts of summer and winter festivals. You can travel around Japan with the All Japan Rail Pass, very cheap for students to get. And you can basically just take the railroad all the way up and down Japan for, I think it's 3 days total. You can homestay with Japanese families, etc., etc. All right, so the other thing that I really want to impress upon you guys is how successful APU graduates are. I think Ruham has told you guys a little bit about it, but the amazing thing about APU is you see this 92% job placement rate. This is actually the lower adjusted for COVID-19 rate. In normal years, we have 96, 98, 97%. So if you're looking for work, you're going to get it because you're uniquely equipped to tackle the issues that companies want you to be able to do. And of course, if you want to continue your studies, there's a bunch of elite institutions around the world that are just waiting for you to join. We'll go into a little bit more depth here. Here's a whole big list of employers that some of our graduates have worked at before: Bandai Namco, Mitsubishi, Uniqlo, Toshiba, 7-Eleven, Suzuki. The list goes on and on. The Asian Development Bank, and some graduate schools: Australian National University, University of Tokyo, Yale, Harvard, Seoul National University. I mean, you have incredible amounts of opportunities just by studying at APU. And here's another amazing thing is, if you want to work in Japan, you will have a really nice salary if you join a company and stick with it. All right, and then we're going to go into scholarships very briefly here. I know you guys are very interested in funding your education in the most efficient way possible. Every international student is eligible to apply for our tuition reduction scholarship. It comes in 5 increments from 30% all the way up to a full 100% coverage of your tuition. It is valid for all 4 years of your studies at APU, and it's super easy to apply. You just tick a box on the online application. Okay. You can also apply for some external job scholarships once you get into about your second year. And the reason I say it's from the second year is because oftentimes the applications here will be in Japanese, or you'll have a Japanese language interview. So another incentive to kind of improve your Japanese language abilities there. All right, here's tuition. For undergraduate, the first year is 1.3 million Japanese yen. Second through fourth is 1.5. For graduate school, that's 2 years in total, 2.8 and 3.8 million Japanese yen respectively. Let me just break down a little bit more of the finances here. Comparing studying in Japan to other popular study destinations, you can see that our yearly tuition fee changed into USD is basically the cheapest out of these top 5 countries here. In addition, because we're not in a big city, your yearly cost of living is also very inexpensive. And this is a high estimate, by the way. This is a very high estimate. So a lot of people will live for much cheaper than that each year. Okay, and then once you graduate, here's your average national annual income. It's quite high, especially if you're in a big city like Tokyo. Just keep in mind that this data is a bit old at 2014. So there's a lot of factors involved in salary and all that. So just keep that in mind, please. All right, so you need to fulfill 2 main requirements to study with us at APU. You need to have completed 12 years of standard education, whether that's your HSC or whether it's A-levels or whether it's International Baccalaureate. As long as you've completed, you're okay. And then you have to prove that you have English language ability. And of course, if you've taken an IB course, it's all in English, so that's okay. However, if you have done something like HSC, then you're going to need to submit some standardized English proficiency test to us. For example, IELTS, TOEFL, TOEIC, Cambridge, etc. We even do accept the Duolingo language test. However, you're going to also need to have a former English teacher complete your English proficiency form if you do that. I recommend you go for one of the official ones if it's possible. All right, how do we apply? It's all online, so don't even worry about it. The application fee is very low, 5,500 Japanese yen. You're going to complete a little bit of an online assessment where you're going to record yourself on your webcam answering some questions that come on your screen. You're going to do 2 critical thinking tests. They're named there, the Watson-Glaser and the Core Abilities Assessment. And then once you pass that stage 1, you're going to go on to an online interview with an admissions counselor such as myself. All right. So the final deadline is the 13th of October, this coming month. That's just a little bit over 2 weeks from now. So you have plenty of time if you start. Just remember that this is the final deadline, so you got to complete before October 13th. My best advice to you guys is give yourself more time than you think you're going to need. If you think you need 3 days, give yourself a week. If you think you need 5 days, give yourself 10. You know, just have that extra buffer amount of time to make sure that your teachers can give you their recommendations, that you can send all your documents that you need to send. And always finishing ahead of time is much better than being very, kind of at the very, very end of the intake there. So go ahead and hit that QR code if you want to get to the required documents, and hopefully we'll see you applying soon. Please do hit us up on social media. We have Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and just recently started a TikTok as well. A lot of our social media is created by APU students in the social media unit at our admissions office. It's incredibly professional and polished. Just check it out. You'll be amazed. All right, guys, that was the short and sweet of it all. I hope that you got some information there. I would like to show you a brief video before we open it up to some questions and talk and chatter after that, okay? So let's see here. All right, here we go.
To learn something new, sometimes you must travel far to where the spark of new possibilities lies right before your eyes. There is a place you can see things you've never seen before, where the energy of those around you is inspiring and boundless. And so you join in, working harder, reaching higher, dreaming bigger than you ever thought you could. Because this is your time. This is your chance to seek out your own destiny.
Amazing. That was a pretty good video. So students, basically, if you have seen the video, if you've listened to the presentation, that was one way to get a general information about APU and the overview, bird's eye view kind of. But if you want to meet with Mr. Von Holgen face to face tomorrow, then please do fill up that inquiry form. And also, you can also message us, and we will try our best to accommodate an appointment with you. The few things I wanted to, there are quite a few questions that came up. So Shana Zaman asked, I had a question regarding my certificate. Do I have to notarize my certificates, both transcripts and those from ECA, when I submit them online? So I guess you can answer that. Yeah.
That's a great question, and we have a lot of students asking these kind of things, especially in these pandemic times. The answer is that you don't have to get anything notarized at all. If you're translating something into English, you're going to need to get it translated by an official translator. But that's kind of the only requirement there. Because you're going to be uploading scans and PDFs of all your documents to the online application, you don't need to get those notarized. But once you're accepted, at a certain point there, we're going to want a few originals or certified copies at that point. But during application, you don't need to worry about that at all.
That is great because, again, if you want to apply, please get in touch with our team. We're experienced in this. At the time of application, you don't. But when you apply for your COE, like visa and stuff, that's when you're going to need to have some of those. Do we need to provide any supporting documents for English if we have Duolingo?
Yes. Unfortunately, since Duolingo is not an internationally recognized standardized English proficiency test, we're going to need you to submit the English proficiency evaluation form. And actually, the online application walks you through how to do that. What you're going to do is you're going to input a previous English language teacher's email address in there, all their contact info, and that's going to get sent directly to them. They're going to fill it out. They're going to tell us how you are at English. And so that proficiency form and the proficiency test are a pair when you're doing Duolingo. You can't just submit Duolingo.
Okay. So basically, just to answer your question, it's okay to submit Duolingo. That course is fine, but there is also an English language proficiency form, which is part of the application package. Please get in touch with our office. We'll send it through. You can pick it up from our office as well, and then you can fill up those physical forms. If someone had only 2 subjects in their A-levels, what are the chances of them getting an admission and or scholarship?
In general, we like to see 3 A-levels or more. If you have 2 A stars, you're doing pretty darn good. But if there's any way at all that you can give us some extra information, it's just going to increase your chances, especially if you don't have 2 A stars.
Okay. Another question, Shana Zaman. I didn't receive my A-level transcripts yet due to some issues with the spelling of my name. I guess there is a conflict going on. Can I apply with my O/AS level certificates and transcripts?
Okay, we're not really interested in seeing your O levels because it's kind of too far in the past. If you have some AS levels, you can show them to us. They're not going to have a huge effect on your decision because, again, they're kind of old information, but it's definitely better than showing us nothing. We do also accept preliminary results. So if you have some preliminary results or predicted A-level grades, it's always great to send those in to us as well so that we can work with as much information as possible.
Right. So basically, Shana's, what Vaughn is saying is that, submit all your academic results, okay? Obviously, what they take is the final thing, the final grades, but your O-level results and your performance there is a good indicator of your future performance as well, and your AS. Now, as far as A-level is concerned, if you have got your final results, but you haven't got your final certificates, then, what you should do is give your transcripts and get a letter from British Council or school saying that your certificates are pending and they will be issued based on this and this. And based on that, you can apply. Shana's also asked, can I apply, do I have to pay for dormitory and security fees even if I get a scholarship? And how does this work? Shana's, your scholarships, the tuition fee scholarships that APU provides is for tuition fees. So, when you apply to APU, you are mandatorily required to stay in dormitories for the first year. But believe me, it's quite reasonably priced. But you do need to pay for that yourself. Having said that, every single student who has gone to APU for the last 10 years that we've been working with them, and I think for the next intake as well, have also received something called a JASO scholarship, which pays about 49,000 yen per month for living expense, or that goes towards your living expense. So, you're gonna probably be able to get that as well. Siam Chaudhary asked Vaughn, in your 2022 undergraduate prospectus, the minimum language test score of English basis applicants, PTE score requirement is 50. My question is, do I have to score overall 50 in PTE, or I have to score 50 in each and every module of PTE?
I'm sorry, I'm not super familiar with the PTE. I don't think we get that submission quite so often as, for example, IELTS. However, I believe it would be overall because all of our scores are listed overall, except for IELTS, where we also have a minimum band score in each band. But all the other scores that we have listed are the minimum overall scores.
Okay, great. So that is an overall score, Siam. So there is no individual bands. I think that fulfills that requirement. Again, please get in touch with us. We've been doing this for a long time, and we can help you. And for one-on-one, basically, that way you can ask the questions that are relevant to you, and the guidance that is required for you to apply. Please do fill up that form, and get or message us on Facebook. You can email us at mail@macesbd.com. You can also call us 017-5566-0012. Now, we've got 2 offices in Bangladesh right now. By the way, this is the first. We are going to have a couple of more offices very quickly in the future. So please watch this space. So right now, our offices are in Gulshan, Navana Tower, 9th floor. And then in Dhanmondi, our offices on Road 27, it's House 39B. It's right beside Shopno. But please do sign up for this event. Come to our office and apply. There are, of course, there's a lot of scholarships, but there are also many applications. So we are actually quite overwhelmed by the response from our applications week. The application week ends on the 2nd. I do apologize. It started on the 25th. It ends on the 2nd. A few minutes ago, I said it ends on the 5th of October, and I was corrected by my colleagues. So 25th to 2nd of October. So please get your applications, all your documents ready to apply as soon as possible, and come and visit us. This was just a trailer, of good things to come. So we didn't want to elongate it too much. But I hope you will be able to meet Vaughn tomorrow. Vaughn, you have anything to say before we say goodbye or say adieu to our friends?
Sure, just a bit of a closing word here from me. We understand that you guys are really thinking about a lot of things as you're going through your college selection process. And everybody has their own worries and their own priorities. So everyone's situation is different, which is why having an individualized counseling appointment is going to really help alleviate a lot of your worries. You can really address directly the things that you want to know about. So again, take advantage of the time with me. I'm going to do my very best to be there as much as I possibly can for you guys. And of course, with my partners over at Maces as well. We're always working together and doing our very best to get you guys in the right place and have on the right track for your future.
Thank you once again, Vaughn, for your time. And with that, I think we will call it quits for today. And, I hope our friends will come and meet you tomorrow. That's signing off from our